Anyanshcha hasta sarana savanatudadi Pranannamo bhagavati purushaya Sudhismati virananam alayam karinali Namami bhagavad shandaram First of all, I want to tell you it's a great honor and a privilege and a matter of great joy to be present here, especially as a part of a program being arranged by Swami Chidananda Guruji Maharaj, and my namaskar to him, my heartfelt appreciation for the great work that he is doing right now, especially those of you who have some understanding of the present scenario, the social conditions in Kerala, will find no words enough to praise and appreciate the great work that he is doing. And I want to begin my thought with a sincere prayer to Sri Ramakrishna. He initiated the same tradition during the early part of his monastic life. He spent quite some time in one of our ashramas in South India. So I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji to bless him in his great work that's going on. Now, Swamiji is going to talk to you about the Inauguration. In fact, Inauguration is part of the Samaveda tradition. It belongs to Talavakara Shakha, and it is said that Sagasravatma Samaveda. Samaveda is supposed to have originally, in the early years, maybe many of them are lost right now, 1,000 branches or Shakhas. And now, just a few words about how important it is for us to understand Upanishads. You know, in Hindu Vedantic tradition, the primary source, the most important canon, the most authentic canonical tradition is the tradition of Srutis or Upanishads. Whenever there is a conflict with regard to ritual, philosophy, conventions and practices, in any area, we listen to the Upanishads. Sudhis mudi virodheshu sudhireva dariyasi avirodhe tu sudha karyam smartam vaidikosana. So Java Smriti, he said, author of Smriti, he says, whenever there is a conflict between Sruti, Sruyade, Dharma, Anena, this is Sruti, this is Mimamskas, but Dharmadinam, Paramatmanam, Lebanda iti Veda, that is the definition of Veda, meaning Sruti, which actually means Upanishads. That is the Jnana Kanda, the most philosophical, universal and spiritual segment of the Vedic literature. Samhita, Aranyaka, Brahmana, Upanishads. So whenever there is any conflict in the society, in terms of social status, conventions and practices, we find that we are supposed to uphold the views of the Upanishads, the Srutis, and consider the Smritis and Puranas only afterwards. Vyasa, the author of Bhagavata Purana, the one who classified the Vedas into 4 segments, the author of Mahabharata, which includes Bhagavad Gita. Now, Vyasa himself says, Sudhis Mudi Purananam Virodho Yatra Drishyate Tatra Sraudam Pramanam Sya Tayo Dvaithe Smriti Vara. So, there are 3 important canonical traditions within Hinduism. The most important, the supreme, the most authentic canonical tradition is the Vedas, means the Upanishads. Next, Smritis, and then only Puranas. Swami Vivekananda, one of his major contributions in terms of interpreting Vedas, Vedic hermeneutics was that he re-emphasized this idea again and again. One of his most relevant series of lectures that he delivered after his return to the United States is called now Colombo Dalmara lectures. After Swami Vivekananda spent 4 years in this country, after the Parliament of Religion in 1893 up to 1897, he spent 4 years in this country preaching the Vedanta. teaching, Vedanta message. Then he returned to India, to Colombo. It's part of the British Empire at that time. And then Swamiji started this movement, his sea lecture campaign, beginning with Colombo to Almora. It's called to Colombo to Almora lectures you find in the third volume of the complete books. Swamiji says, one of the major reasons why Hindu society, such an ancient culture, tradition, the civilization is older than the Aztec, Mayan, Incan, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Chinese, everything. Right? Long before Egyptian civilization came into existence, Indian civilization had already reached the highest zenith of its perfection, its evolution. Now, Swamiji says, it's a very famous, important statement which every Hindu should memorize and keep in mind. If Manu returns to India today, he won't find himself in a strange land. He won't be bewildered, Swami Vivekananda says. He speaks these words in 1897 in Colombo. What he says is, if the great Vedic lawgiver, the author of Manusmriti, remember Manusmriti is not as relevant today as it must have been maybe during Vedic times, but what Vivekananda is talking about is this. If the ancient Vedic rishis returned to India today in 1897, they would find the same ancient Vedic culture continuing, progressing, prospering in India in terms of antiquity and continuity. Indian civilization is unique. But then Vivekananda says, something happened. Just imagine, look at Indian history. I don't want to go further. Basically, that's one of my subjects. There is not one district in India without some temples, without some Indian institutions, lying in ruins. 1,000 years of slavery, foreign invasion. And even now, we have not opened our eyes. Look at the Israelites. The last time they had to flee the country was 71 AD when the Masada collapsed under the Roman 10th Legion. It is said sometimes that the great difference between Jews and Hindus. Don't take offense, I am also one of the Hindus, so you don't have to be worried about this. Hindus think they are the best in the world, then they go to sleep. Jews also think that chosen people, they are the best in the world, but they don't go to sleep. They work hard to make it a reality. Now, you find something like this in Swami Vivekananda's words. Why was it that a handful of Europeans would come to this country and the entire nation lay prostrate before them? Then Swamiji says, after a few sentences, he says, the bitter lesson we have to learn from our own past is that united we stand, divided we fall. Actually, it's come from Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln delivered the lecture, but Swamiji had already studied this when he was going to Scottish Church College in the later part of 1860s, just after the Civil War in the United States. What I mean to say, we give too much of importance to Puranas, conventions, rituals and traditions which are sometimes very divisive. But Upanishads are unifying, harmonizing. Upanishads ask us to look upon entire Hindu society as one spiritual family. So we should return to the Vedas, Swamiji says. Return to the Vedas. Return to the Vedas means returning to the Upanishads. The Upanishads give you strength, courage, confidence, and a strong feeling that we have a great heritage. That's our spiritual inheritance that we have to preserve, we have to strengthen, we have to work hard to keep it alive. If you don't work alive, if you don't work hard, it will be put out by history. Where time consumes everything. So, going back to Upanishads, I remember one important verse in the Apastamba Smriti. He says, Smriti Puraneshu Vidodheshu Parasparam Purvam Beliyasya Idi Nyaya Vidu. Apastamba says, Sruti, Smriti and Puranas. If there is a conflict, Purvam Beliyasya, Sruti comes first, then Smriti, then Puranas. Puranas and Smrtis contain lot of things which may not be relevant. They were relevant maybe thousands of years ago, but not now. Now, what we need today is to imbibe the message of the Upanishads, to draw inspiration and to enrich our culture and society, nation, and a tradition by drawing inspiration from Upanishads. Now here again, I don't want to take too much of time. I don't know how long I'm expected to speak, so I shall conclude very soon. Now, the Upanishads belong to maybe 6th millennium, 5th millennium BC, quite ancient. One may ask this question. The Upanishads are old books, in fact. But then, we have a unique tradition. From time to time, a great teacher appears in India. Some great teaching epoch makers. And among the epoch makers, you can have Rama, Krishna, Vivekananda. For Shankaracharya stands as being, Shankaracharya Madhyama, in the flow of inheritance, spiritual inheritance. Shankara comes in the middle because he was the most miraculous human being the world has ever seen. A man of 32 years. He started his business, spiritual preaching, when he was 6-year-old. Became a monk when he was 7. Wrote all these wonderful books before 16. Then he traveled all over India. The place where Shankara was born is called Kalathur. It also means the foot of, the foot. That was the instrument that he used to walk all over India. Kalathur is also the tool that he used to travel all over India. 10 monastic orders, 4 monastic traditions in 4 distant corners of India, writing these most wonderful spiritual classics. And again, the most moving, the most wonderful devotional poetry in Sanskrit came from the greatest Advaita, Shankaracharya. About this Shankaracharya, one statement comes in Sister Niveda's Web of Indian Life. She says, "This is a greatness that we can never understand but can only appreciate from a distance." That's a heritage, that's a tradition. So all these epoch makers came from time to time. Because the old wine should be put into new bottle. You cannot carry a chunk of gold to market and buy things unless you want to be arrested. You have to carry currency notes. So every age has a new teacher. And every new teacher represents the latest currency. Because that's what really works. So, in modern times, you can find in 19th century, Sri Ramakrishna came, Vivekananda came, and then Ramana Maharshi came, and Swami Chinmayananda came. So many great monks and teachers came one after another. They took the best from our tradition, practiced in their life, reinterpreted according to the needs of the changing times, and then carried forward to the next generation. That is why our tradition remains alive. Our tradition actually gives us strength, unity and harmony. So I want to conclude by prayer to Sri Ramakrishna, to God Almighty, to bless all of you, and especially Swami Chidananda, who has come all the way from India to conduct this retreat. And my prayers and my best wishes for the success of this program. Thank you. Namaskar. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Namaste.